Morning. So today I want to um, kind of go back down memory lane and just reveal to you some things that I did to make some pretty decent money. And I'm going to go over what I was looking for to help me and to help you guys um, find a place where you can kind of stay and be grounded. And yeah, so let's get into it. So a few years back, I would say 3 years back, around Christmas time. I was trading, I think I was trading gold. Let me see if I can go back. Go back a few months time. And I think it was in December. It was October. No, it was December. November and December. I was working. I had a paint job at the time for a customer. And while I was painting, I was making decent money. And I was doing this is before the economy had caused gold to do what it's doing now. It would be real volatile. So I could kind of predict what I wanted to do. I go too far back. Well, what I was doing is I was doing using moving average crosses. I didn't know, I didn't know what I knew now as far as like the TDI hack and all those things, but I was able to turn 200 and I think $250 into like 3,100 in 7 days. So, let me just go back to that time and see if I can rekindle where I was mentally to, because sometimes I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I was telling them how sometimes with having so many ways to get to the same point, you can um, you can kind of lose your way. It's almost like smelling too many colognes, how your nose doesn't. At some point, you can't tell the difference between what cologne you're smelling and what cologne you just smelled. So that's the downside of having so many strategies is that they make it hard for you to choose. Having a lot of options make it harder for you to choose. So this is where I was at 12/12 that first week of first couple weeks of December, and let's see if I can get down to the one. It took me way back to here. I don't want to go back that way. But anyway, let me go back because this is dragging too long than I expected. So, um, a couple of things that I've been noticing is that TDI hack is work. It works if you go back, you look at the video that I made about uh, 8 months ago. It's kind of helping you identify um, entries using the TDI and comparing the TDI to the price action. Um, and from there, like, in fact, I don't have to go that far back. I can just pick up where I left off because the principles still remain to this day. So let's look at this. Let me go back a little further. I want to see at the beginning of the cross. Okay, so cool. All right, so look, this is what I was this is what I was doing. So basically, I was waiting for a moving average cross. After the moving average cross, wait for a pullback to that section, I believe, and then I was dividing my capital by 200, and then I was taking my trades. And then obviously this is the 1 hour chart. Matter of fact, let me go to the 15 minute. I don't care if it brings us back to where we are. Um, Perfect. I was trading every day. So I was waiting for a moving average cross, waiting for the pullback, and then I would take my trade. And then I would basically um, I would take multiple trades, probably 2 or 3 trades a day, because I took this trade, then I would use divergence on certain trades, the lower lows and the higher lows in the RSI. And those would give me other opportunities. So this would be a trade one, trade two for the buy, and then trade three going into the next day. Um, and then this trade here, obviously, you have this low, and then you have a lower low with a higher low. That would be my strategy. So I would have been up 3 or 4 trades by now. Coming into the new day, I would have entered this trade because as it says now, I understand how the TDI works. When you have a lower RSI point but a higher price action point, Like the slingshot, but the bow and arrow. You see how the RSI is pulling back and showing you where price is going to go. In this case, it's going to go up because you have a lower low on the RSI and a higher low on price action. And that continues, right? Continues up, boom. And then you see this same thing. Um, a lower low on the TDI, a higher low on price action. So you see how those are things you can say right there. I know we like to, it's just too boring. It's not complicated enough. Hey, it's not, it's just, you're just making money. It doesn't have to be exciting as long as it works, right? And then another thing, just reiterating the importance of having what you want to do, what you want to take care of in front of you, because you won't get lost in the simplicity of what's working, right? So let's continue to look at that. We have lower low on the TDI. All these are lower lows on the TDI, right? But higher lows on price action. These lows are higher than the previous day's lows, right? But they're lower than the previous day's lows on the TDI. Prices pushes up, comes back down, pushes up again, and then you see how the trend as the trend begins to change, the focus goes from the bottom of the TDI to the top of the TDI because prices pushing up. See how it's pushing up right here, pushing to the current highs. But as you can see, you're getting divergence occurring every push to the top. The price is already under the baseline, so you're still getting these pushes to the top. These are all fake outs. These are all fake outs. It hits to the bottom. These are trade opportunities as well. Why? Because these are higher lows than the previous day's low, but at the same point in time, they're lower than the previous day's low right at the end. Actually, they're lower than all the previous day's low, and but it's higher on price action. You get to this point, so you got sell, buy, sell. Why is this a sell? Because you got equal highs, but lower highs on the TDI. So this is why it's so important to understand how to read the TDI, how to understand TDI to your trading. It makes it easier and smoother for you to trade. Okay. And as you can see, I downloaded the MetaTrader 4 because on the MetaTrader 5, I'm not able to add the TDI indicator. I don't have that indicator. And yes, it may be considered kind of old compared to compared to TradingView, but old or not is all I need to know is all I need to be able to do is read the chart so that I can place my trade on the platform that I use, this website. Because that's all that really matters. But it's very simple. And then after you get the moving average cross, you see how you get a higher point on the RSI, but it's a lower point on price action, signaling a sell, right? Going to this point, you get a lower equal low, but it's a lower low, signaling a buy. So those are things to help you understand, right? And then even here, you get a lower low, but a higher low on the TDI, signaling a buy. It's just, it's very simple, but you have to take the time to learn, take the time to study, right? And then we go into the next day. This day appears to be a no-go. Most people will say this is a ranging day. Nothing is happening, right? And it's true. But if you look at uh, the TDI, a lot is happening. A whole lot is happening. Okay. You have a lower high on the TDI, but an equal high on the price action. It pushes down, gives you a lower low on the TDI, but an equal low on price action. And you see how a lot of things that were taught over the years, over the last 7 or 8, 10 years, were really because of a lack of understanding beyond what was working for that person. People taught you don't trade in the agency, you don't trade here. Okay, it depends on what you're trading, but at the same time, there has been instances where even on the Nasdaqs and the S&P, if you're trading it the Forex way, you still have opportunities if you know how to read the chart. A um, there really isn't a way to say this is the best time frame to trade. You look at what's happening because currency flows all day. It doesn't just flow. in the New York session or the Asian session or the London session. It flows whenever the bigger picture is ready to move. So in this case, you had a trading opportunity right here in the Asian session when you're not told quit when you were taught don't trade that. But this is a perfect opportunity, probably the best entry for the whole day. Why would I say that? Well, this is the lowest point on the trajectory, and on the TDI, it's lower than all the previous days low, and even lower than the end of the day's low of the day prior to that, right? But at the same time, it's higher. Best these trades right here, trades like this, you get in there. Listen, trades like that, you put the max you can safely, right? Because you're going to get um okay, for example, the understanding the understanding is the golden ticket, not how much you have, how much what trade what pair you trade. The understanding is the golden ticket. Why would I say that? Because with this, what we just discussed in these quick little 5 or 6 minutes, you could have taken anything and made it to something. $10, $20, $1,000, it don't matter. The understanding is the golden ticket. If you have the understanding, you could turn a dollar, what do you say? Uh I think Tupac said he said trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents. Well, obviously that's um I forgot the term, but in this case, you can turn $15 into $100 if you know what you're doing. I've did it before, okay? But I want to rekindle for me. I want to rekindle that moment. I want to rekindle that process, and I want to stay there because there are things I want to, get into real estate. I'm already in the real estate as far as the understanding process and the working process, but it's time for me to purchase real estate and have a portfolio. But with this, it's going to be the way that I believe I'll be able to do that. So, like for example, right? You got $100 and you take a dollar trade here and you let it go. Nothing's saying sell. You let it go until you get an obvious divergence. That alone from there to there is $2,300. $2,300, and then you get a beautiful opportunity for a pickup. Two more trade opportunities. You get this and this. This is telling you it's a lower, a lower high than, forgive me, am I saying that right? It's a lower low than the previous low, but it's a higher low than the previous higher price action. That's a buy. You take a dollar and turn it into 2,300. You can come here with a point five and get out with another two. So you go from $100 to 4,100 in two trades. And then at this point, you can go in with the big boy swing, $4,100, take a $100 trade, and that's another 10,000, 11,000. And why is this a good opportunity? Because you look at where it hits, you look at that. You have a lower low, a major low on the TDI. But at that same point in time, if you look to the left, this low is higher than this low, right? Let's just go all the way to where this low from left to right. This is higher than the low that's close to it, right? And at the same point in time, if you look at the bottom of the cursor, where the cursor meets the TDI from left to right, the lower low on price action is the higher low on the TDI, indicating what? A buy. So you go from $100 to 15,000, and then even at this point, you can take that 15,000, get in with a 5 cent a lot trade, and go to sleep. That's the best trade you can get. 5 cent a lot trade up to here. So that's 50 times 2,000. 50 times 2,000, that's 100,000. And so that's what I'm saying. It's not the money, it's the understanding. The money is the result of the understanding, right? And then you don't stop there. You got it keeps showing. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, but you have to practice. The studying is not so much the calculation of how much you will make. The studying is the practice of training your eyes to see opportunities to buy or sell. And that through that buying or selling, you receive the results that come with getting the trades right. That's it. You have to take your mind and your determination of how much money you can make. That is a byproduct of your ability to see. Once you can see it, the money comes as a result. It's almost like once you learn how to walk, walking miles is a result of learning how to walk. You can't walk miles or run miles if you don't know how to take two steps, right? You can't drive to the school or drive to the store if you don't learn how to drive up the street or drive up and down in the driveway. You have to learn the steps. The understanding is more important than the results. The more understanding you have, the better your results will be. So let's continue. I'm going to show you how consistent this is visually. You have to see it visually. Okay. You can't box yourself in to what everybody else is promoting. You have to look at what works for you. And I can tell you from my experience, I 7 days. I turned I think 250 into 3,100, and I didn't even have what I have now. I didn't because like, when the thing about increase without understanding, as you increase, you get more loss because you don't know how you did it. You don't have a clue as to why it worked out. You just know it worked out. You have to know why it worked out so that you can know how to do that same thing again. It's almost like uh, being able to dunk and not know how. You have to have the understanding as to how you just did what you did. If you don't have the understanding as to how you just did what you did, increase will make you more confused. Because the next thing that happens after you get increase, someone's going to ask you, "How can you teach me?" And the proof of what you have is in your ability to give it to somebody else. And so if you don't know what you know, then how can you give it to somebody else? Well, that's why it says the Bible says, study to show yourself approved unto God, right? Why is it unto God? Because He's going to be the one that gives you the assignment, not yourself. So if you need to know this, right? So that you can help somebody struggling. Peter says, silver and gold have I none, but what I have give I freely. What do you have that you can give freely? Wisdom, right? Wisdom, faith, whatever you have that you have received, but you have to be able to give it in a way that people can be uh, dependent on themselves and God and not on you. If you keep giving stuff away without giving people the knowledge, you will ultimately snap. You will ultimately um, you will ultimately become a problem, become an enabler for them. So you have to continue um, to do what you have to do. So let's continue to look. Um, Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. Okay, so I am back. Just had to take care of a quick little situation. But okay, so let's get back to what we were talking about. Um, when you see the TDI doing lows and you have price at a high, okay, it can be confusing. I will say it can be confusing, right? You see the baseline going down, you see everything going down. This is giving you heads up. Price action will always. Some people like to use it by itself. Great for them. But from what I've discovered more opportunities using them in tandem with each other. Okay, I need to cut this down. I need to cut this down. Okay, so look, see it's going down. You hit the low. Look to the left. Next low is equal, but it's higher. This is an opportunity to buy. Okay, you get to the high. Look to the left. Equal highs, lower highs. Sell. Look to the left, nothing's there. It's a low, real low, right? Look to the left. Nothing's there. The closest low is here. Look down, it's a higher low. It's an opportunity for the buy. That's all this is really simple. Like even all this volatility is is great, but you need to know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, the first thing you will say is that the market is acting up. The market is never acting up. The market is always going to test your understanding. And ain't no such thing as the market tripping. No, it's not tripping. You don't have enough understanding to benefit from it. And when you don't have enough understanding to benefit from the market, when you take a trade and a lack of understanding, you lose. That's it. There's no other way to put it. Why am I saying that? Because look, this trade right here, right? We bought here. Nothing said get out, right? You hit a high, that's 3,000 pips. It comes down on the TDI, but the first low is here, right? And then you get continuous. All three of the touches was in the same place, and all of those points were all these points were higher than the whole previous, the whole all the movement before. You look to the left, boom, that's lower. So this is a higher equal high, equal low. This is a lower low. You look at everything that was left to the left of this point, right? You don't get your first lower low to here, but all these other points, even though they are lower lows on price action, they're higher lows on the TDI. It's telling you, it's telling you buy, right? So even with all this volatility, you can get in here or all these points. This makes your trading sniper. This gives you the ability to have sniper entries because you have a helping hand. This is like having a drone, and this is like having a drone. Understanding the TDI, it's like using a drone to fight a war. If you know what you're doing, if you know what it's telling you, you won't lose. So this is a low, and that swinged up. You got a high here and a high there, 3,400 pips, right? So look, you got a high, you got a high, sort of kind of equal high. Then you got a low. This low, even though it was one of these situations, is low. Look to the left, even the closest low is still higher than that. It's still a higher low. So this is the entry for the buy. Just that little bit of move with 600 pips. And then you get this. Obviously, we know that this is going down. It's a lower low, all right? And then it drops, right? But guess what? Guess what's even cooler? Even if you didn't take this trade, guess what you get the next day, all right? Now, obviously, I think I saw this trade and I took it in January because I understood the TDI. What am I saying? This low is super low, a 14 on the TDI. But if you look to the left, all the way to the left, right? If you look to the left, let's look at the closest low. This is the closest low. The closest low, if you look down, is still higher than this low, which is a higher low, which said what? This is going up. If you even if you didn't take this trade or this trade, that's what they gave you. They gave you a great entry for a nice little carry-on trade. I mean, like you can go into sleep because you understand what the TDI is telling you. You got a moving average cross. You got a pullback. This high is lower than this high, but at the same point in time, this high is higher than this high, which is giving you that bow and arrow, but it's pointing it, pushing it down, and it shot down for 2 days straight. From here, straight down, over 1,000 pips, because you understand the TDI. And then even with this low, right? Boom. Look what it gives you. A low. Look at the all these lows, right? But if you look down at the TDI, this low is higher than this low, which is definitely uh higher than this low, saying what? Change of trend. It's showing you where the momentum is going. It's shifting up and it goes up. So that's really the whole thing. I don't want to keep reiterating myself, but this guys, take your time, watch it until you understand, practice until you understand. Okay, practice to the point where you can just look at what you're looking at, no pen or paper. You look for what I'm teaching. Just look, train your eyes to see. And when you train your eyes to see, you won't have to overthink because it's showing you. It's literally showing you. And if you don't see it, it's not there. All right. You see, I'm not pointing out every little trade. I'm not pointing out all the in between noise. I'm pointing out the things that are obvious. So with that, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to upload this to my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to post it to my Facebook group. All right. Have a good one.